Friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I am so excited to share Stampin' Up's December 2025 product of the month with you. It is this beautiful designer series paper. It is called True Blue Florals. It's 12 by 12 in size. One print, this is one of the 6 double-sided prints. It has these beautiful sketch floral images. I did cut out a lot of these images to create a set of cards. One set of cards, all of the decorative images, most of the decorative images are from the designer series paper. I did add a die set to it as well. So for this set of cards, I added the Label Me Grateful dies. I utilized these 2 dies, which are identical. You get 2, which is really great to have 2 of them. I used some of this image, and this image from the dies, and I cut all of those out of Night of Navy for this card. And I do want to let you know, this is on the last chance list. This die set is discounted right now, 10%. So that is available on the last chance list, which means it's only available while supplies last. And I'm going to also mention, as long as I'm talking about last chance list, this other set of cards, the floral stamp set I used was the Charming Days stamp set and the bundle, and the dies. They are bundled, but I do want to let you know they are both discounted on the last chance list. It's better to purchase the stamp set on its own and the dies on their own. And I stamped these 2 images in Memento ink on basic white cardstock and cut them out. And then I've also utilized this die and this die throughout the samples. I'm going to share more of the details on the samples in a minute, and then I did utilize this. As long as I'm talking about last chance product, the beautiful ribbon I used is also on the last chance list. And this is the 1/2" Balmy Blue Sheer Ribbon. It is absolutely beautiful. Goes so well with this designer series paper, and I utilized it on both sets of cards. So why don't I just talk about the one product, that way I get all the product talked about. This is not on the last chance list. This is, oops, I got a little goodness, I have a little mini glue dot there and it stuck to my paper. That can happen. So I got that off there. So I used the Banner Sayings bundle. This was just released November on online exclusives. These great sentiments, and then a 3 banner punch. So this is bundled for a 10% savings. Just in case I forget to tell you, I think it's best, if you're going to utilize this, is to punch out all 3 banners at the same time and then stamp on them. The stamps are photopolymer. That works out best for how I used it. Just punch them all out. If you try to do a strip of paper, it does not work out as well, at least not for me. It's best to punch out all 3 of them, and then you can utilize them for different projects. All right, let me show you the paper. I showed you this print, absolutely beautiful. I used those images, and then you got this on the back side. You get 2 each of these 12 by 12 designs. There's part of that that mini glue dot that I peeled off. This side. And did I tell you that the colors are Night of Navy and Balmy Blue, and then your basic white? Absolutely beautiful. I did cut out some of these floral images for my one set of cards. They work perfect. Just trimmed around as close as I could around the images. So front side, back side. Goodness, I better keep on track here. I'm getting distracted by the beautiful papers. I did not cut out these images, but you definitely could. I'm not a fan of cutting around images, but I will do it for certain projects. And this is a beautiful print. You could also cut around these images for your cards. And this is the back side. And this is another paper you could cut around here. I did not for my sample. So this is the front side and this is the back side. So before I show you the projects, I do want to give you a little bit details on the product of the month. It is a program that Stampin' Up has just started, And there's a couple things that you need to do, or they have 5 items. Stampin' Up! Provided this simple step-by-step instructions on the bottom of my blog post right after I sign my name. This is the first thing I put here, is talk about the product of the month, and you can click and download this. There's a couple key things you need to do. You need to have a Stampin' Up! Account, meaning you create an account with your email and your password, and then that's how you'd be putting your orders in via your account. When your product in your shopping cart totals $75, you qualify to purchase the product of the month for $5, and you add it to your cart. But that's before shipping and tax and before you apply rewards. If you apply rewards and it reduces below $75, you need to add additional product to get it to $75. So I hope that all helps you understand how the product of the month works. But as I mentioned, do check out this flyer. And let me also tell you that once you put product in for $75, you need to click and say, yes, I want to purchase this product for $5. So it's not automatically going to be added to your order. You need to take that action to add it to your order. So I'm going to share some cards I created with. I created some cards utilizing card sketches, and basically pretty close to the same card, but I just embellished them differently. I already shared that I embellished this one with the designer series paper and a few die cut pieces. And then this one I stamped and then I colored in with the blends. I did share that I would give you a little bit of how I color in with blends, and this is all personal decisions, right? You can color these in any fashion. So I love the blends. Before I started using the blends, you would not see me coloring anything. I was not a fan of coloring in, but I love using the blends. So what I'm going to do, it might be easier, I'll just do this one. What I typically do is take the light blend and then I color in my image. I just barely touch my paper or the brush tip to the paper, and it colors this in. Now, my tips that I always share is do not push really hard. If you push really hard, you are going to distort this really nice brush tip. I like keeping it just as it is. Now, I am going to tell you that I do know that I've used this quite a bit, and it's probably soon going to need to be replaced because they don't last forever. And they eventually, you use up all of the ink inside the marker or the blend. So I color it in light first. Then I take the brush tip on my dark blend, and then I just go along here. I just add a little bit of color. Sometimes I add just color right along the Stampin' Up! Line, the line on the image. That's what I love about a lot of our stamps I'm really doing this shaking a little bit and having it raised up. I just add a little bit of color. Sometimes I leave it like that. Sometimes I bring the light one back in and just pull it a little bit this way. Just blend it a little bit. It dries lighter, and every one is a little bit different. But you know what? Every flower is a little bit different. So then you can just add a little bit more, as much as you want. And then I would probably put a little bit more color here. The other thing that's nice about blends, you can go light color, keep the light color and add over a second layer of light color, then you've got a darker shade. So you can add as much detail as you want. For the greenery, I make it really simple, is I take and color in a leaf with the light. I think I started to tell you something and then I stopped. When you have to push so hard that you hear scratching because it's starting to dry out, that's a good sign you need to start thinking about replacing it. I take the light, color it in one time, then I put the dark right on that center portion of the leaf. Then I take my light again, and then I just color in the whole thing. Do I still have the, oh yeah, I still have the light. And it's going to dry a little bit lighter, and that's really how I created these images here. So I just determined how many floral images I needed, stamped, cut them out, and then colored them in. So I think you have the details. You can see here I used the white for the die cut, and then I just tuck them underneath. I like to put my floral image on first with dimensionals just in the center, then I can tuck everything in underneath as I want it. So these are from a card sketch. I have an Inking of You card sketch number 3 that I used for this. So my measurements for this card were for the designer series paper is 2.5 by 5 1/4. And then I just replace that with a sentiment banner, and your decorative image can be as large as you want. So this is my first cards that I created, and the same designer series paper back here. Just love this paper. So that's the first card. My second card is these cards, and I used a card sketch again, and all strips were identical prints here. Make sure I'm still on camera. And they are 1 by 3, all 4 of them. This strip I used basic white, which is 5.5 by 1. I wrap that ribbon around here and have a decorative image. So you can see I die cut the Night of Navy and fussy cut the designer series paper. And on this other one, I used one of the stamped images that I die cut. So that's the second card. Now these are the third cards that I created. So I also used a card sketch. So the card base for mine are 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Some are rotated in this fashion and some in this fashion. And so that's the card base size. Now for this card sketch, I added a layer behind this first layer. It's 3 by 4 1/4, and then I have 1 3/4 inch circles here. So same designer series paper, same sentiment punch ribbon, same Night of Navy circles. I fussy cut some elements here, and then I use that smaller one here. So very similar cards, but they look so different depending on how you embellish them. So the next 2 cards I used are the same for the designer series paper, the same for the Night of Navy in the back, and that's all from the card sketch. 5.5 by 2, 5.5 by 2 1/4. The card sketch has a decorative image in the center and sentiment here. Well, I did that for this one, plus I added a bow. This one I put the sentiment up on top because I just had more open space here. So the beauty of a card sketch, it's your beginning point for your inspiration. Once you get started, you can change, add more layers. You can do, you know, be creative and create the card how you would like. So the next card, I have 8 cards altogether for each set, so 16 cards altogether. So for this card, I did a couple more things different for this one. For my card sketch, I had my card base, but I wanted to add design on the back, but to maximize my paper, I cut my paper at 4 by 5 1/4. So I added that in my information that it's 4 1/4, designer paper layer is 4 1/4 by 4. You can get 6 of those out of your 12 by 12. If I kept it at 5.5 by 4 1/4, I could only get 4 out of my paper. So I used the same paper there, and by making that smaller, I made this square smaller. I changed the 3 by 3 to 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and you can see that the sentiment is shown here. I did that on this side on this card, but I moved it up here on this card, and then I added a lot more decorative images to the back. So the beauty, as I mentioned, is you can create these in many different ways. All right, so we have 3 left here. We have this card. So this card, I did change up the papers in the back. They're different here than they are here. I just wanted to kind of bring this element together with that paper instead. And I added a bow to one and not the other one. And this is a card sketch that has a 1/2 inch or 5.5 by 1/2 inch strip. And then you have 2 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inch squares. You need to put those on first. I put this one on first, then that one, and this is a 2 by 2 square. And then you add your decorative images. So same card layout, different papers. Now these 2 cards, I use the same designer series paper for the layering, and I put a bow on both of them. And for this card sketch, it is a 5.5 by 2 1/4. And then this piece underneath is 4 by 1, and it has 3 sets of decorative images. Now, I considered adding some of this underneath as 3 decorative images or some additional decorative images. But as I mentioned, the card sketch is a starting point. You can just put 1 decorative image there if you'd like. Here I have a flower that I cut out, some smaller ones I tucked underneath, some greenery, and then some of those Night of Navy die cuts. So these were so fun to create. And then the last one, I used a card sketch, and this one I did change up quite a bit. So this one, I wanted to bring out some darker colors to the back of that one. This strip is 5.5 by 1.5, and you have 3 decorative images, and you can add a sentiment stamped right on the card base. And that's what I did for both of these. This one I used the Charming Day stamp set, and this one as I used that banner stamp set. And I fussy cut around here. I just felt I needed a little bit more, so I added some additional bows here. But the beauty of this is you can really create these in any fashion that you would like. And I think whoever you give these cards to are going to love them. I do want to give you all the information so you can recreate these. So I do have a PDFs for both of them that you can download. And it even includes the card sketch on the flyer. So these will be on my blog. One is for the Charming Days cards. It will have a link to this video. The video will be the same on both of the PDFs. All the supplies I use, keeping in mind some of the product is on the last chance list and will only be available. I do want to let you know the Inking of You card sketches that I've used are from my Inking of You card sketch booklet. 131 card sketches in here. I created them over almost a 3-year time frame. My team name is Inking of You, the team members in my team. And we've used these for a variety of different things over the years. And that booklet is free with a $75 order. So if you qualify for the product of the month, you also qualify for my card sketch booklet if you select me as your demonstrator. And I will mail you, it's one booklet per demonstrator or per customer. And then I also have a couple other products or gifts I give for selecting me as your demonstrator. Each month I have a different fun fold, and this is my December 2025 fun fold. I've designed this card. It stands and displays like this, but it will fold flat to fit into an envelope. You also receive the envelope in the packet. Everything is cut and ready for you to assemble. I include materials for a little miniature card that goes on the instruction postcard that is mailed to you, and you get a link to an unlisted video to help you assemble those. At a $60 order, I have a simple card kit. You can use the materials in this card kit for any of the projects you'd like to create. So I've rambled quite a bit here, but I wanted to get all the information in. And as I mentioned, I have project sheets that you can download. If you like my project sheets, they're free. You can download them. And I would just love to have you like, subscribe, or watch my YouTube videos. Reach out if you have any questions. Take care and happy creating.